956-1484.
Hey, welcome back to another Rock and Roll Road Trip, and I'm sitting here with Nuno and Gary, and I just heard some music, and wow, I mean, how do you get from the grungiest, down and dirty stuff to the lightest stuff, and all points in between?
You know, I'll let Gary. It's probably different for Gary. For me, I was the youngest of 10 kids, and with the youngest of 10 kids, you walk into one room and you're hearing the Beatles. You walk those generational gaps. You go in another room, you're learning about Zepp. You know, and then you go and you have AC/DC in the other room. So to me, I never looked at it like, man, we're into rock or we're into pop. It was all of it. So I was always kind of like that. You are what you eat, right? Sort of, you know.
It's funny, when Extreme came out, we always considered ourselves a bastard child of Queen, Zeppelin, and Van Halen. You know, which we were. We had a little bit of all
Throw
that.
the Beatles in there too.
Throw the Beatles. Well, they had, you know, all those bands had Beatles in them, right?
Yeah.
So, but we grew up in that generation that, you know, Aerosmith, The Who, Zeppelin, of course, the Beatles, and that was just part of us. So when me and Nuno got together, it's funny, we were in separate bands in Boston, but when we met, we kind of filled a void for each other. He had all this music, and I was beginning to write more lyrically, and we filled a void, and it didn't matter what we wrote.
When we met, it was a club owner said, come by the club. It was closed. He asked me to come by, have a drink. He showed up as well. It was just the three of us. I didn't know him that way. We talked about the bands. We talked about Beatles, Zeppelin, Aerosmith, all the bands that we grew up on. The next day, Gary had never heard me play. And the next day he called me up and he asked if he was going to fire both his guitar players if I wanted to be in a band with him. And I said, you never heard me play. He said, I just know. I already know.
No, true story, yeah.
Well,
Craziness.
Hey,
so it was a vibe.
And he had to fire two guys.
Two guys.
Yeah, for you, because there's not room for two guys with the way you play guitar.
Yeah. I was bad with playing. I never played well in the sandbox.
No, there's certain guitar players that do not need a second guitar player. It just gets in the way. So what's the secret to rekindling a great friendship and a great musical friendship? I mean, what brought you guys back together?
You got to love somebody enough to hate them.
That's family stuff.
You know what? It's family, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
family, but you always know you have that umbilical cord somehow, that invisible, that's connected, whether you want to be or not. And if somebody's always on your mind that way, and they bug you enough and annoy you enough to do that, you know that love is there somewhere. But you know, as human beings, we're all broken in that way. Our egos get in the way.
Yeah.
You know, all that stuff, and some people don't learn. You gotta learn. You gotta look back and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Even when we were separated, when he put out material or I did, we'd want the first one. You know, he'd be the first guy I'd want to know if he dug it, and vice versa.
Look, I went up to the house when he, you know, a lot of people think he left Extreme to do Van Halen. By the way, he didn't. I left. I left, what, 6 months before?
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, I remember. That's right. You were
right.
doing you were about to do Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and then even to the point that when Gary actually went to do it, the first one up at the house, up at Eddie's, was me, to support and show up and listen to the stuff, and you know, I was cool with it. I had no problem.
Wow. Walking in 50, see, I did that. I walked in those footsteps. I walked into 5150 one day and didn't come out for 11 years.
Yeah.
So
I only spent 3, but
walking in there, what was your first impression when you walked in and saw the little magic?
Well, I got the call that summer, you know, and there was those commercials with Dave, you know, Welcome Back Kotter thing going on, and I got the call from the manager. Says, you want to go there and audition? I go, after I chuckled, I go, yeah, okay, you know. And I literally walked in going, I'm going to spend the weekend with Van Halen. I'll sing a couple VH songs. I'll go back to Boston and tell my buddies I hung out with VH that weekend. And I ended up staying there for 3 years. But when I walked,
Welcome to the Hotel California.
When I got there, I knew Michael from before Extreme. We bumped into him a few times.
When I left Van Halen, Eddie was he was just coming into, hey man, I want to take over my own band. It'd be like, okay, let's paint the album white. I'd say, okay, let's paint it white. I'd say, no, I want it black now. I'd say, okay, black's cool. And they'd say, no, I want it white then. Well, look, I'll get back to you and tell you what color I want it when I'm ready.
Right.
And, like, that's what I had to deal with every day of my life. And was he that hard to get along with that just...
No, when I walked in there, I remember that first day, it was 12 o'clock, he came out of the studio, you know, shook my hand, you want to sing? I'm like, can I take a piss? And I said, Michael, I go, you got to help me. You got to help me with, believe it or not, I go, you got to help me with the Sammy songs.
You know, what's on your turntable now? What's on your CD player? What's on your iPad? What's on your
I'm always
iPhone?
going to be a I just got the new Who record because you know I'm just a Who fan. Who? They just put it out. Tremendous.
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. He played me a couple tracks
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's
Oh,
great.
wow.
Daltrey's,
I love the Who, man.
Daltrey's in good form, but past couple of years I'm a big Zach Brown fan. You know,
Oh, what a trip.
and that Americana, just the melodies. The thing that hooked me was their harmonies. I go, man, these guys are like the Eagles. You know,
Yeah, it's
they
a
remind me of the
talented
Eagles.
musician too.
Yeah,
I mean,
great.
he's
classically trained. Yeah.
Yeah, he can play and sing at the same time like crazy
Yeah.
shit. But you can probably do it too. I can't.
No, a lot
I
of
got to
those
go
guys-
jitter-dang and
Yeah,
then sing,
I'm the
and
same.
then jitter-dang and sing.
I can barely play a riff and sing. I'm not good at that.
No,
Zach,
People like Geddy Lee did that shit. They'd be
Oh,
walking
that's
bass lines.
unbelievable.
Like, what do you do? What's happening here?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, Zach's one of those guys. But what about you, Nuno? What are
I
you,
don't know.
what are you kind of listening to?
One of the bands I thought that was kind of cool that. Yeah, I'm probably going to say something going like, that's not really new, but it is new in the sense of like, you know, when Muse was doing their thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it had a lot of the influences that we liked as well, some Queen influences,
Yeah.
and I like some of the electronic stuff they did as well, and melodies, and you know, because I was a big Radiohead fan, and I thought he was a big Tom York fan, so I liked what Muse.
I love Radiohead. I
Yeah,
think Tom
I'm a
York is a
massive Radiohead
great.
fan.
He's the most sensitive singer on the planet.
Yeah.
That guy puts goosebumps on me. Look at talking about him. I was like,
Mentions him.
Yeah, it's like, you know, I'm pretty easy. You know,
Yeah,
wind
I'm a
blows
big
and-
Radiohead fan, big Radiohead.
But it's so creative. So you know, what makes you happy? I mean, what makes you happy, Gary?
What
I mean,
makes me happy?
in life? It
What
don't
makes
have
you?
to be music.
What makes you think I'm happy?
Well, what would make you happy? Then?
What
How
would
about
make me
that,
happy?
You know,
Makes me.
mean, you get-
I'm a simple man.
where do you get joy from? Yeah.
I get joy. I do get joy from music and performance.
Performing, man, all day, this guy. Just get him a stage.
Every time I play anywhere near him, he's always there and always comes down and plays with me. Yes. A lot of singers won't do that. You know that? I mean, singers are all like, oh no, I don't know, I ain't feeling good. Oh no, hey. you
Oh
know.
yeah, that's just about everything.
I mean,
Yeah.
and most of it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
but no, Gary's always a sport. So, but what gives you joy?
You know, I think for me it was. I've been trying to work it out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we all, because, you know, one thing I definitely learned that everything I thought made you happy for a minute.
Tell me about it.
You know what I mean?
Tell
So
me about
I read something a while back. I actually have it when you came into the kitchen. It's written there because I need to. It says that happiness is not a future event. Do you know what I
Wow.
mean?
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
that's
it's one of those
beautiful.
things
That's
that everything that we're doing here, it's the hardest thing for any of us humans is to be present and
Right.
enjoy this
Yeah,
right now and
yeah.
be happy
The moment.
about what's this. Easier said than done because we always think like the platinum record when the dream we had is going to do it. And then you still got issues. You got problems in personal. It doesn't change personal life. It doesn't change any. I mean, look at what happened with any band. The greatest bands in the world, the Van Halens, everybody, Zepp. You could still live your dreams, but you think those things aren't the things that. Those are things that you enjoy. But happiness has to be, you know, you have to just
You
appreciate
have
what
to be
you have
happy.
to.
Yeah, yeah.
You
You have to be blessed
Whatever
with
that
whatever
is.
we're doing now.
That's why I'm asking you guys. I'm looking. I'm still looking.
Yeah.
You know, I ask everybody.
You're
the
not
same
going to
question.
find it. You're not going to find it.
Yes,
It's
I
being-
am.
It's being
Yeah.
present.
Oh,
You're
don't.
already happy, man. It's right here. How could you be happier than being sitting with us right now?
Hi.
It doesn't get any
Well,
better.
that's a
I'm
little
happy.
overrated, but
I'm happy. I would be happy to play a song with you guys. How about that? That would make
That
me
would make me
momentarily
happy.
happy.
Sorry.
Yeah. I know your fingers.
Oh yeah, I'm a guitar player. So my fingers are a little stiff. It's kind of
Yeah.
cold out.
Okay, role play. Jamie, Mara's the customer.
Excuse me, would you be interested in bundling your home and auto with Progressive?
No,
Well, you could save money.
I'm independently wealthy.
You can get round-the-clock protection.
I have a bodyguard.
Okay, this is totally unrealistic.
Well, you weren't really selling
I
it.
didn't buy it at
How am I
all.
supposed to play off that?
Yeah, it was really bad.
Okay, I can do better. Hey, my name is Jamie, and I'm here to say...
Jamie, don't do that.
Is this guy bothering you?
No, I was just...
Hey, maybe we need to take this outside.
Bush out of control? Tame it with the Lawnmower 3.0. Order today at manscaped.com and receive free shipping, boxer briefs, and a travel bag.
You told me that only Experian Boost could raise my credit scores instantly. And it did.
Boost your credit scores instantly. Download the app now.
Your prescription comes to $72 and
That's
20
larceny.
I know.
This is outrageous. Something must be done to control prescription drug prices.
Martin Sheen went on a